What's going on, lads? The day has arrived. This is the moment we have been building towards since like 2.5 months ago. I mean, obviously everyone's been building towards it since the first single dropped, which was Seeing Red. But I've been on a bit of a journey with Architect's discography, and we are finally finishing up today with their most recent release, which came out today. It is The Sky, the Earth, and All Between. It is 12 songs long. It is 41 minutes and 50 seconds long, which is around about that sweet spot with metalcore music for me. So I'm very much so excited to jump in and finally see what they've been cooking up. We have 6 new songs to check out, and Elegy is the first track on the album, which is a brand new song. And then we have Whiplash, Black Hole, Everything Ends, and Brain Dead, which is 4 tracks in a row that we've already heard. They've been singles. And we have Evil Eyes, Landmines, Judgment Day, Broken Mirror. All of those we haven't heard. And then we go back into Curse and Seeing Red, which are 2 tracks again that came out as singles. And then we finish up with Chandelier. Some features. We have heard the House of Protection feature. And on track number 8, we have a feature from Amira Elfeki. Elfeki? I don't know how to say her name, but that's a feature as well. But yeah, let's not waste any more time. I've done so much yapping about Architects over the last month or so on Patreon, on YouTube, so I'm sure you are all absolutely delighted for me to be finished up with this at this point. So The Sky, the Earth, and All Between. Let's go. That tone, man. Can you hear me through the white noise? Do you hear me through the white noise? This feels very Bad Omens all of a sudden. My song of the year so far, man. It's so good. The little burst. Oh. Midnight. When I know I put the fire in my eyes. I love this song. It gets me so pumped up. This part here, this part here. Sorry. How am I getting the lyrics wrong? I've listened to this song 1,000 times. The best! Falling in Reverse again, I'm sorry. It just does sound like Falling in Reverse. Clearly not a bad thing. I fucking love this song. Yeah, this makes so much. I did say this as well, that this song in the album, where it's placed, is perfect. It's still a mid song, like, come on. It's a good song, but it's just mid. It's a good driving track. It's a song that you could get away with, like, playing in the song with your normie friends that don't listen to metal music, and give them a bit of taste of what metalcore has to offer. Look, it's a circle pit song. It will go off live. There's like ridiculous heavy breakdown at the end. It's got a feature. It's cool. The feature is so sick, to be fair. Okay, much the same thoughts. It is not a bad song by any stretch. It's just like hardcore punk music in general doesn't really click with me at all, for the most part. Again, there's always exceptions to these rules. But that doesn't do much for me, mainly because of that like punk influence in it. Great feature. I love RX vocals in it. The breakdown towards the end is decent, you know, something special. I can see the circle pits building in a live performance, so it's gonna be sick live. Do not get me wrong, it's gonna absolutely pummel everyone live. Evil Eye's second new song, let's hear it. Evil Eyes has to be a heavy track. I'm hearing somber keys. Oh, no, yeah, there it is. Samuel, kiss me. That's a grower and a half. Oh my goodness, where did that come from? Again, Sam hitting them higher notes. Beautiful. I like how it shifts down a little bit there. Gets a little bit sexual. That's gonna be one of the better choruses on the album. That's my kind of chorus compared to Brain Dead. I have no idea where this track's gonna go. I don't know if it's like a breakdown track or solo again. Again, I love the synth work. That like bubbly kind of outer space vibe to it. Solo. Yeah, this is a nice touch. I like this. Yeah. Give me a bit of that, please. Great variety again, man. I'd show you my chills, but I'm wearing long sleeves. Oh, Deftonesy. I've never heard a Deftones style Architects track. Have we heard that before? Sam sounds fucking amazing again. Like, he is on fire on this album. What the fuck was that? That EDM detailing. Okay, I'm just gonna let it play. This feels like the actual new part of the album, all this section. Oh yeah. Not what I was expecting when I seen the feature. This sounds like synth, but it also could be like a tap. Some like really fucking fucked up tone on it. This is so weird. It sounds like this is almost being played in a different room, which is kind of cool. Those chugs. Again, love the little detailed production. Not bad. I have a thing with like almost nursery rhyme style choruses that kind of annoy me. Like, I'm imagining Rain, Rain, Go Away, Come Back Another Day being sung to me as a child. And it feels like they're kind of, you know, spinning off of that and making it like aggressive and metal, and it just feels a little bit disjointed. I also just didn't really fuck with that song. It was alright. Good feature, but didn't do much to wow me. I'm hearing Siamese, The Shape of Water. I'm the shape of water. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because the next song is a banger. And I'm going to like this one and add it to my playlist and hope that on a couple more listens, that chorus really sinks in. The chorus does really remind me of The Shape of Water by Siamese. I don't know, man. There's just something a little bit empty about some of the crescendo moments from the instrumental standpoint on some of the tracks. Obviously, you've seen my reaction to Black Hole. I lost my shit, and this is like the 70th time I've heard that song. So there is exceptions. Of course, there is songs and moments on the album where I'm losing my mind to it, but some of the chuggier stuff just feels so like every other metalcore band, which is fine. Again, this is where that like bias of enjoying their older stuff and like that trio of albums that they did that are just so S tier, and just it's when you hear like the repetition of the like you just long for the riffs. You really do. I'm sure their guitarists could play some fucking filthy riffs. I'm really sure they could. The solo again in Black Hole is beautiful. They're shredders. I know they're shredders, but it is obviously a stylistic choice to go more towards these big, like, anthemic arena style tracks with Sam, who sounds amazing. Don't get me wrong, he's got such a great voice, but there is definitely a decision to go more into the production world and more into the like big chorus world that are big anthemic tracks. Or if they're going to go the opposite direction and do something a little bit different, they're going a lot more heavy and like kind of going into more like, you know, beat down tracks as opposed to stank face riffs, which I feel as though is kind of just the one thing that I really, really think I miss. And I think a lot of people are in the same boat. I'm sure their guitarists could, maybe not to the same extent as what Tom was able to write. The guy was an absolute genius. But I'm sure they'd be able to whip up some fucking sick riffs that are still a little bit more noodly and just captivate the brain. Not captivate, is captivate the word? Excite the brain a little bit more. It does get a little repetitive here in the same like dun 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 dun. It just feels kind of samey and easy to predict after you've heard a certain song, couple songs. But that's just me, man. That's just me. This is such a good chorus. Again, it's very Jordan Fish and Bring Me the Horizon coded, but when they hit, they fucking hit. This came out on the 4th of December, 2023. What? That's like fucking closing in on a year and a half. I thought that was like 6 months ago. Holy shit! What I believe. I never seen that lyric. You dummies only live on the internet. No way. I didn't realize they were that blatant about who they were talking to. It's such a petty song. I love it though. Very well done. They're lucky that it's a fucking good song because this is the pettiest lyrics I've ever seen.
Don't you see? Everything's so incomplete, bittersweet. Just tell me how to break this code. Chandelier.
Okay. That was a really nice outro track. I just want to say quickly on this song before we get into the full album, I really wish they didn't do a breakdown at the end of that. I'm thinking instantly of Vola's final track on their last album or their latest album. The track is called Trey, if anyone hasn't heard it. And it had the same vibe as a track like Trey. I think it was slightly different to Vola's. but it's like the same style of track. You know, you've seen it on loads of different albums where they have like the emotional take towards the end of the album, and it like meanders out, and it's a beautiful moment, and it allows time to reflect on what you've just heard. Vola didn't do a breakdown, and like Architects are not Vola. I know this, but I'm just comparing those two tracks and thinking how much better it was that Vola didn't do a big like heavy breakdown towards the end of that. Feels like a lot of the emotion gets sucked out of it when it's like trying to, it's like they have to include the breakdown. It's like it didn't need it, man. It was it was a lovely piece. Just from that track alone, just purely looking at that track, I would have preferred if they didn't do a breakdown. Still think it's a nice track. I'll add it to my likes as well. I'll still go back to it and give it another spin, but just from a preference standpoint, I feel like that was a track that just didn't need to have a breakdown in it because it just feels like it takes a little bit of the emotion away from it. All right, I'm not going to like overcomplicate this review because I'm really stuck on this one, because if you look at the tracks that I've liked, again, take the actual liked tracks with a pinch of salt. I'll tell you the absolute guaranteed playlisted tracks right now, because I know some of them maybe won't be there in a couple of days after I listen to them a few more times, but anything that I figured might be a grower is in there. Black Hole is definitely in there. I think Broken Mirror is definitely in there. I think Curse is definitely in there. I think Seeing Red is definitely in there. I think Evil Eyes is definitely in there. Everything Ends maybe a little bit, that might be in there, but I'm not entirely sure. But I would say Elegy I'd have to listen to again. I've only heard it one time, so you know, it didn't grab me massively. I thought it was a solid opener to an album. It did give me Falling in Reverse vibes. I'm sorry, I've been saying that since Black Hole. There's just, it feels Falling in Reverse coded in certain moments. That's okay, I like Falling in Reverse. Whiplash got better for me for sure, but I don't know, we'll have to see if it stays. There's just something about it that I don't really find that captivating. Obviously in the context of the album where I'm listening to the full thing, I didn't mind it and it did come across a little bit better, but it's not really something I'm that excited to go back to. Brain Dead, I think just because of the punk elements in it, I'm just not that into. It's just going to be something that I can't really click with. In a live environment though, that's going to go off. Circle pits everywhere, people fucking dying. It's going to be great. Evil Eyes really fuck with this. I think this is going to grow massively. Landmines, I don't know if it's because of the name Landmines, it's giving me Polaris vibes. I need to hear it again, but I just remember on first listen, I was kind of like, is this similar to a Polaris track somehow? But I'll have to listen to that again. Maybe I could be wrong on that one. Judgment Day, with the feature Amira, I don't know about that one. Again, I'll have to listen to it again, but on first listen it didn't do enough to like excite me enough to really like throw it into my playlist. Broken Mirror, I thought that was fantastic as well. Curse, we've heard a million times. Seeing Red a million times. Chandelier, I like it, but I want to start my semi rant, not a proper rant, but it's just a conversational piece that I can't escape. I cannot escape it no matter how hard I try, and I just want to sit here and be like, toxic positivity. How do I even go about this? I think Architects did such a good job creating three of the funnest, riffiest, just best metalcore albums over the past like 10-15 years that it's actually become a burden that they now have to carry throughout the rest of their career in terms of the divide that seems to be plaguing their fan base. There's such a divide. They've literally completely split the fan base down the middle. And I know the people who agree with me are going to think that I'm completely with them, and I know the people that disagree with what I'm about to say are going to like treat me as the biggest hater ever. That's just how the comment section has been. There doesn't seem to be many people rationally thinking about things and just appreciating that some people can be a little bit on the fence, as opposed to just like, if you have a slightly negative opinion about Architects, you are the biggest hater. And I'm someone who got into Architects from For Those That Wish to Exist. Animals was the first single I'd ever heard by these guys when that dropped, and then I listened to like Dead Butterflies, Black Lungs, etc. Then I went on to like give the album a shot when it came out in my own time, and I think I stopped it after like 5 or 6 tracks. It just I wasn't vibing with it as much as I did with the singles. And then lo and behold, a couple years pass. This week I listened to For Those That Wish to Exist again, and I felt the same way. The singles are huge, big standout moments, but like having gone back in their discography and listened to like some of the older albums, the first portion of the discography, there was some hit or miss albums, but then that like mid portion of the discography with the 3 albums that are just S tier, those are like in my head what the real Architect sounds like. They had the couple of years to like figure out their sound, because their sound wasn't developed in the first few albums with Nightmares, Hollow Crown it kind of started, but then they obviously took a bit of a back step with the Here and Now. Like it was a bit all over the place. They didn't really know what their sound was, and then it felt like they found that sound in those 3 albums, which are just absolutely huge albums in the scene. So in my mind, and this is where I struggle, and this is why it's such a hard like conversation to have, because when I listen to certain moments in this album that are so overly produced, like Chandelier, and again, I'm a production lover, I love a lot of the moments in this album. I was like praising, I was like, I love the production here. There was some great little moments in there, some like really like catchy little earworms that are going on in the background that just like bring certain moments to life. But there is like this overproduction of Sam's vocals in certain moments. I think Chandelier being that like emotional raw track. The intro to that track is like absolutely drowned in this reverb and auto-tune and overly produced, and it drowns out that like human emotion that we all know that Sam has in absolute abundance, and that's why so many people love those older albums. It's not even the direction of the songwriting. This is where people get it mixed up a lot of the time, is that people like will say, oh, you just want them to be angry and stuff all the time. It's not. It's just like certain things that I can't take my brain away and take it out of the equation of this not feeling like Architects in certain moments. There is some great songs in this. Look at the likes. They're there. But again, the auto-tune, the reverb on Sam's vocals in certain moments, that's just one example. It's just one prime example where I want to like point at. There's a few other moments that just don't really feel like Architects to me. And again, maybe that's just because I'm so used to like how good those albums are like earlier in their career, but I have this selfish thing where I feel like even the band knows that this isn't their core sound. Like this isn't actually what they know they're at their best at. I actually have that feeling that the band even know that. That might be a hot take, but there's just something when I hear and I look at the band, even the visual appeal to the band, they just don't strike me as like a Bring Me the Horizon type band. But that is very clearly what they are going towards. And more power to them. There is some fantastic songs in this, but I have to be honest. I do like this album. I do like this album. Like I said, it was 41 minutes and it flew in. Great pacing, some great songs. But I have to say it how it is, in my head at least. I just can't escape there being something like quite hollow about Architects these days, which again is probably just to do with how much emotion and everything that they packed into their previous albums. A testament to how good they have been in the past. It's a different direction. I think they're still very, very solid, but it feels like we're just diluting what Architects actually are, and they're slowly but surely just becoming another band that is doing something that has been done quite a lot in the past couple of years by Bring Me the Horizon and a couple other bands that are doing it, and it just feels like every time we get more music, it just feels like it's getting ground down into just being a band that has completely separated their fan base. And to finish on this, I do genuinely sit in the middle. I do love a lot of these songs. I think I'll go back to them. Like I said, Black Hole is my favorite song this year. So I understand that there's a little bit of hypocrisy in what I'm saying here, which is why this is so hard to talk about. That's why I was literally just like, I don't even know what I feel. I genuinely don't. I think Architects have brainwashed me somehow. I think I'm being brainwashed by a band because my head's gone. Does anyone else feel this way? Maybe not like exactly word for word what I've said. Maybe you might have a different way of describing it, and maybe you might say something in the comments that makes me realize that maybe that's actually the angle that I'm coming at. I just don't really know how to explain it. But that's it, man. That's it. I actually don't know if I'm extremely excited about this album or if I'm a little bit disappointed. Let me give a rating for this. Let me give a rating for this album because I haven't been doing ratings. And before we go, I want to like give you guys an idea of where I actually sit with this album, because that does kind of leave a negative tone to the album, and I don't want it to be that way because I don't think it's a bad album by any stretch at all. It's just the thing that keeps holding me back from probably loving the new era of Architects, which I'm trying so fucking hard. And I'm not the only one, I know this. I would say I actually think this is probably like an 8 out of 10 album, which is feels like the biggest contradiction to even say, and I'm very aware of this. This might be like an 8 veering towards like an 8. I'd say I'd be willing to go up to like an 8.3. Again, numbers are just a number. It doesn't really mean much, but I would say between like an 8 and an 8.3. But it doesn't really feel like Architects. I'm lost. I'm at a loss here, lads. Help me out. Help me out in the comments. I know you will be able to like maybe put into words better what I'm trying to say or how I'm feeling. It's not even like something that's easy to, it's more of a feeling thing, you know? So I'm hoping some people feel that way, and then maybe some people completely disagree with that feeling, but you can't really disagree with a feeling, can you? Like, it's just a feeling. I'm wrapping it up, lads. Thank you so much for watching. Much appreciated. It's been a wild couple of weeks with this whole Architects thing. I'm actually excited to just step away from the band for a bit and then come back to this album when maybe I've not been listening to all of their older albums over the last couple of weeks, and maybe it will sound better. But I'm gonna go with like an 8 to an 8.3, but there's still something that feels slightly weird about it. But yeah, bye.